Volkswagen bus that would travel across the United States in two different national parks. And it kind of seems like something that's a little daunting at first, but let me break it down for you. So, what I want to talk about today is planning out your route and figuring out how much it might cost. All right, so let's talk about planning your route. I feel like that was something that I just had certain national parks. Like, for instance, I really wanted to go to the Tetons. And I was like, well, there's other national parks around it, but like, it's just kind of a daunting process to go through and be like, I'm gonna go this exact route. So I feel like when I was planning my route, I was looking for just general ideas of like, if I'm in this area, what should I add to it? And like, where should I go? Because I started this route all the way on the East Coast, and most of the things I wanted to see and do were on the West Coast. And so planning that out, figuring out what makes the most sense. I was most excited to get to the Tetons, so that was my first main goal. But then on the way there, if I did like a certain route, I could go through different national parks or forests or areas. And so for me, I use ChatGPT. Woo! Okay, so I was never really a big ChatGPT user, but it sources a lot of information and puts it together really well, so it saved me a lot of time. And so what I did was I went into ChatGPT, I made a little, I don't know if you call it a thread, but I made this little thread, we'll call it, and said, okay, I'm traveling the US in my 1973 Volkswagen bus. I would like to go to the Tetons National Park. I'd like to go to the California Redwoods. I'd like to see Big Sur and the Big Five in Utah and this, that, and the other. And I told it like a bunch of different places I wanted to go. And I was like, I'm starting from here. I have this much time. So I have a time period starting from here, ending here, and I got to start and end in the same place. What would you recommend? And then it gave me like some recommendations. And then I said, okay, well, I don't like this national park. Let me take this out. I don't like this forest. I want to get here first, or like different things that I would remove or add, and just modified it until I had what I needed. So I literally said like, oh, I don't want to go to this forest preserve. And I'd be like, okay, would you like an alternate suggestion, or would you like to just keep on trekking for your route? I said it in different words, but you kind of get the picture. And so I basically made my route with ChatGPT, honestly, and it's worked out quite well. And so I did the same thing with like different mechanics or things like that. I'd be like, hey, where's the nearest like mechanic that can work on old air-cooled vehicles? Usually I'd say like Volkswagen bus, and when that wouldn't work, I'd look for others, depending on the area. Because some places have like plastic vehicle restoration experts, and they can probably work on an air-cooled, even though it's like a different, they're not specialized in VW buses, but if it's something generic enough, they can work on it. So I'd say a big thing is planning your route. Then, once you have a route, you're going to have an approximate number of miles that you're going to go. And then add a couple hundred to it, because you're going to be zigzagging around and going to stop at places to come back, change your mind on things, stop at little libraries, cafes, scenic viewpoints. Just never really know. So I always like to add on a couple hundred extra miles for the trip, just to like have it in mind. I like to, I guess you could also do it as at 10% of the mileage that it says you're going to do, because you're going to detour. You're going to go see things. You're not just going to go straight shot through, because like that wouldn't make sense. Why would we be doing the road trip if we're not going to stop and see things? So that being said, add 10% to your mileage, or a couple hundred miles, whatever that is for you. Because like if you're only going 300 miles, adding a couple hundred miles doesn't really make sense. Then once you have that mileage, you can approximate. And I just went on like online and I looked up like how much the national average is for gas, and it was something relatively there. And then multiplied by miles, I'm like, okay, this should be about my gas budget. And then add a little bit more, add that 10%, because you just never know. Some places are going to be cheaper for gas, some places are going to be more expensive. It's crazy when you change like over from different states, you're going to see a jump or a dip in gas prices. Silly, but that is what it is. And once you have an idea on gas, then you got to talk about sleeping and where you're going to stay or what you're going to do. I found I really try to do free camping. Leave no trace, leave no trash, don't bring anything that could be bad for the environment. Like, just like be self-contained, pack it out. You need to use a restroom. I usually run to a gas station, honestly. or I'll use like the national parks restrooms, or like a public restroom that happens to be open, or a store, something like that. Um, I think if you pee, it's not as big of a deal as like anything else. So use your discretion there, but I don't think you should be leaving like toilet paper in such a beautiful area. Like just don't be one of those people. Don't leave trash. Don't leave toilet paper. Pack in, pack out. And for the restroom, I just try and use it before I go into the campsite for the night. So like if I know I'm going to like one of those BLM lands, for instance, where I can get like free camping, I'm not going to use the restroom there. I'm going to go before I go. So I'm going to stop off at a gas station, stop off at a store, or at the National Park Center where they have like one of those big toilets and like gross before. And you just do that, and then you go to your campsite. That way you don't worry about it. When you wake up in the morning, you go somewhere that has a restroom, and happy go lucky, you're good to go. So that's an awful conversation, but we just had it. So that's what it is. Okay, so sleeping. When you are sleeping on the road, I like to try and be discreet. I'm in a Volkswagen bus. That's not the most discreet thing. I use curtains. You can get them from Walmart or Target. I use blackout curtains. Let me see if I can grab them. They're way back there. Sorry, I just don't want to grab them. But you can get blackout curtains. I got them in black. You can get them in different colors. I figured black is more like blending in. I'm thinking white too, but it's not to kind of like draw attention. So you're trying to keep it like as minimal as possible. But I got cheap blackout curtains. One pair. I use these little magnets inside of my vehicle. Is I got some stuff that magnets can stick to, so I just do that. You can also set it up different ways. Some people do strings, and you can like shuttle them across. Magnets was honestly the simplest and cheapest way to do it. It was like a couple bucks for the magnets. Then I got 2 packs of those magnet clip things from Walmart, and then I was set to go. When you are in a pinch for a place to park, some common recommendations that I would have: hospital, airport, long-term parking, which is paid, but like if you really need somewhere and you want to be safe. Hospital also needs good surveillance. Like, probably not everybody. Ask me if you're I have tried like Planet Fitness and things like that, like the 24-hour ones, but I did get the dreaded window knock. I had to leave at like 4 in the morning, and then I parked in a neighborhood nearby. If you're parking in a neighborhood, I try and find ones that have other cars in the street. If you're the only car in the street in the neighborhood, not a good look. You don't want that. You want to go to kind of a neighborhood that's not super fancy, because then they'll get mad. They'll be like, "What's this bus doing here?" Or "What's this camper?" or whatever. They're always suspicious. You don't want to go to like the neighborhood that's not upkept at all, because then they're gonna also be like, "What are you doing?" You kind of want to do like the in between neighborhoods that are kind of like there's people parking on the street. They seem like your average person and friendly enough, but like you're not gonna make camp if you're in a neighborhood. So you're gonna self-contain yourself. You're gonna stay in your vehicle. I try and get all the things that I would have done before I get there. So you're not brushing your teeth in your car when you get there. You're brushing your teeth at the gas station and doing all that stuff to get ready. Roll out your sleeping bag, have it in the back, have like whatever needs to be blown up or adjusted or moved around. Do that before you get to your park site. Discreet. And then you leave early. You arrive late, leave early. Obviously, you're not going to sleep there for 12 hours. It's very good to you. But you can save money later. There's just big things. I just find that very odd. There's also, like, you can use different apps. You can use like iPhone, or you can look up online. It's like places to get. It's really it because some of the spots you kind of get raised here to drive, and like those will just be very bad. Like that's not going to work in those spots. First off, it's going to chip the paint job, and second off, like I am not confident driving this thing on a 4-wheel drive road, and this is not a 4-wheel drive vehicle. So that being said, I would try and look if they have like reviews of those free campsites for the BLM, because honestly, a lot of people will tell you like, "This you need 4-wheel drive for," and then you're like, "That is not me." once when you get used to camping, you'll find that it's usually best to go camp for a month, especially if you're solo traveling. So I try and camp where there's other people camped out. And I try and camp when there's more than just one vehicle because you never know. Safety. And you don't want to be in like some super, a lot of the real areas are really small and stuff. So like you don't want to be in an area where you're living by yourself and it's going to happen or it's a wildlife thing or person thing, you know, situations like that. You have to think these things through. So that being said, use your discretion. I always use my gut instinct. If I feel unsafe in an area, it's worth moving every single time. If I have a gut instinct and I'm like, this feels off, I don't know why. I'm moving. It's better to be safe than sorry. It may suck to have movement, but I'd rather be safe. I'd rather be safe than on somewhere that's you were traveling and setting yourself up, I think it's really nice to have a cooler in your head just so you can keep stuff cold. I don't bring ice in my cooler all the time. I guess I probably do like honestly like one thing of ice a week. And then when that goes, usually I don't get fresh fruit until I get the next thing. Or like I'll eat the fresh fruit, I'll get like smaller batches from groceries where I eat right away within a day or two so it doesn't need to be refrigerated. Just because if you're constantly dumping ice, I thought people give you weird looks if you're like draining clean water to the ground from your cooler, and it's just not a good look. You know, like kind of strange. I don't really like being watched by people. It's like the weirdest thing. To be like dumping your cooler in a parking lot. Like, this is cool to me. When you are deciding on a vehicle, I have a couple racks. So if you have a small compact SUV or you have an SUV in general, your 4Runner, ideal. If you have like a Subaru or a hatchback or a Toyota Matrix or a Honda Fit, those are all really good options to be discreet, but also have enough room to make the road trip work. I've seen a few people do that. I personally, in a road trip to Australia with a friend, we split like a compact SUV and just made it work. It's not the most glamorous thing. One thing we did find is that if you are sleeping in like one of those small SUVs or something, you can get yourself a good camping blow up like mattress pattern. I'll show you the one that I got. I actually got it for a camping trip, but then it actually came in super handy when I really like this vehicle while this was in the shop. And then you can blow it up and pump it up, and it just makes it so much more comfortable than sitting on like the hard backs of seats. And it only takes like maybe 2 minutes to blow up and down. This is the one that I've got. It was like $20 on Amazon. Um, when you are eating on the road, I think it's really good to have some sort of cutlery. I got like a cheap like 3 pack of knives and forks. They were like $1 for each pack of 3. So it's like 3 knives for $1, 3 forks for $1. Like you don't need the fancy ones or anything. If you just happen to bring them, try and make sure that I get veggies in. I know there's some people that can go just with peanut butter and jelly. And I mean, if I had to, I would, but I feel like health is really important. And when I can affordably decide to do so, then I will get the veggies. I do have a 2 propane burner stove, but like it's almost a month and I still haven't used it. I know that I will at some point. I did use it on my last bus trip, but I just haven't really used it. Honestly, I'm a lazy cook and like I haven't cooked with it, so there you go. No other excuses there. I like that when you go in the National Park Service, will give you the little maps. A game changer for me has been the NPS app, so the National Park Service app, because it'll tell you the different timetables, like certain national parks, because they're so popular, you have to reserve a time to enter, or it's super early morning or late day when they allow anyone to enter at this time, just because of the crowds. The other thing that it has recommendations for a lot of hikes and more details. They also have on the maps here, it's nice to have it really active, right? So sometimes I use this, sometimes I use one on the app. It also allows you to download the maps, so that way you don't have to use data, because a lot of areas of national parks is more remote, and you're not going to have like any bars on your phone. So if you don't have it in advance, the app doesn't work. So if you download it within the app, you should be good to go. And if you don't want to do that, just get yourself a nutrition app and sort it out from there. I think when I was choosing like places, I just had like a list of places where I could see those different things and go exploring. And I didn't really have like I had like a general idea of like 10 to 12 days in this sort of area, that sort of area, between these places, but I allowed myself the flexibility to be like, if you don't really like this, just keep moving on. Or like, oh, it all looks the same. Like, Apple's National Park, I honestly think it's not much better. Because once you drive there, you're like, okay, I mean, it's a pretty small national park. I mean, it's cool, it's amazing, but like, it's like once you've seen it, you've seen it, if that makes sense. There's nothing like drastically different amongst different parts of the world. At least for what I saw. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super cool, but I didn't need to spend a week there. Does that make sense? Anyways, in my schedule, I just kind of had it to where I could adjust. I did end up having a mechanic in like a different area than I thought. That's details for that. And so I recently also realized I didn't really be driving the mountains as much as I had forecasted planned for. So I pivoted, and despite the different direction, but still used kind of the roadmap of like, okay, these parks were on my list, and I was going to do them within this amount of time, but I'm just doing them at a different time than what ChatGPT planned. You can also tell ChatGPT to do it different, but I just decided I'm just going to swap it out and do the other stuff later because I was having some really hard things going on. My calipers on my brakes were dragging, which causes the front tires to get really hot, which is bad, and it was squealing. So I had to get new calipers, and that took a while. So that was my little detour. That is done and dusted. Hopefully, the new calipers are on there. Hopefully that's good. And yeah, just national park hopping, loving it. I'm just so thankful for doing this. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. I think this is one of those things I'm going to look back on when I'm 60 or 80 and be like, oh my gosh, there's little me on the camera and like, this is what I did. And like, that I actually got to do it because so many people like, we say like, oh, I'd love to do that one day. But one day becomes just postponed again and again and again. And it doesn't actually happen. So for me, I was like, you know what? I've already postponed this enough. I told myself I wanted to do this. I've been eyeing this for so long. Like, why do I keep pushing it off? And it didn't really have a reason. I was just like, these are super scenes. But they were all like, push through. So it's maybe like, whatever. Like, make it work. Like, if you want to do something badly enough, you'll make it work. And like, the other thing is too, is like a lot of people are in budget. And it's like, okay, well, you can go out of any vehicle, honestly. I've seen people go out of the back of cars. Like, you can go in your trunk and like, have seats down and like, power. It's obviously not as comfortable, but you can make it work. I think where there's a will, there's a way. And if it's something you really want to do, you can make it happen. And I just want to encourage you in that. And the cool thing about these videos is that I get to vicariously like bring each and every one of you who gets to see this in on this experience. And also, I love the fact that like when we're old, we can look back on this. Oh my gosh, like I did this, and it was really fun, really cool. And I think you'll remember like the fun parts more so than the hard parts. It's just so cool. It's so fun. And I'm just super grateful. And with us. And in Utah, exploring the national parks.